Hello, hello, and happy new year. Welcome to everyone to 2026. I hope this is an awesome year. We received sad news yesterday. My wife's oldest sister passed away in Florida. She had been ill and got put in hospice, and we were just kind of waiting for it to happen, and she died peacefully. We're going to probably be heading out to Wisconsin. They live in Florida, but I think she's going to be buried in Wisconsin. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but my daughter offered to drive us there, and we would rent a house near the shore and do what we need to do, and at least enjoy some time with the family. She's one of four sisters, and the oldest and the second one passed away this past year. So yeah, the oldest just a couple days ago. I think it was this Friday evening. Anyway, glad to have everyone here. As you can see, my voice is still a mess. Um, yeah, my son got really sick as well, but it's not COVID. It wasn't. He got tested, and it wasn't even flu or strep. Something new. They have these, antibody tests that they can do a swab and within an hour know what it is. But yeah, it came up negative. So he's coming over later this afternoon. We're gonna have some turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and corn. We've had this turkey breast in the freezer for quite a bit, and always making plans to have them come over, but always something comes up. But not today. We're gonna have it today. So again, I'm gonna try to get off by 2 o'clock or so that he can come over and we can spend the afternoon watching movies and after we eat. But let me show you what I can't show you, but I'm going to read what this StreamYard did this coming year on the first of this month to simplify our structure and support long-term improvements to StreamYard. StreamYard Incorporated, the company that previously provided your service, has been merged into its parent entity, Bending Spoons US Incorporated. This means that starting on January 1st, 2026, your service is now being provided by Bending Spoons US Incorporated. No action is required on your part, everything about your account, including how your personal data is processed, will remain the same. Okay, and there's a couple of links there that I can go to, but I'm not going to bother doing that. I'm just going to go ahead and close that little uh, warning or bit of news out so that we can concentrate on what we're here for. Now, what will that mean? I really don't know. I think they're just going to pass it on to the big boys, the people that are in charge of them. We are at 25 people on board right now, and I would welcome you to hop on the chat. Tell us who you are. You can see back there some right there, that painting that I printed on the Strathmore linen. Behind is another one, and then behind up there, you can barely see it. It's one of Richard Bender's images. So I'm trying to create kind of a little gallery type situation here. The stairs is where I've been putting up pictures. One of these days I'll do a little video tour of it. But anyway, today I decided, well, let me check to see, because I saw an email from Mike Cheney from DDI, the company, the website, I should say, that has Print Prism. And I saw that there was an upload available or a download available for version 110. Now, didn't we just go from 103? We were 103 just a little while ago. Now it's 110. So, of course, I had not done it yet. So I did it yesterday. I installed it. And apparently, according to the instructions on the notice, it's a new image that you are to print. It is improved. Okay. And we're going to be doing that. I got my current, just two basic papers here from Staples, only because this is so readily available. I just want to test it out to see what kind of results we get. And I believe this is it right here. This is the matte paper. It's all referred to as Supreme, so it's got to be probably, as far as Staples paper goes, very likely the best that they have available. I saw somewhere in the back where one of them, particular one, was made in Germany. So, I assume that's good. And it doesn't say here, but I think on the sheet that gives you the suggested settings, one of them said that it was made in Germany. So again, there are only a few paper mills in the world that produce inkjet printable stock or media, from the very common everyday stuff like this to all of the fancy art type papers with different types of paper bases, whether it is cotton, whether it is recycled rag or recycled paper. There's some, there used to be a Red River recycled, made from recycled fibers. And then there's, linen, and then there's many different media, including vinyl and you name it. So, but there's only like, I think it's 6 or 7 worldwide. There's one in the US that I know of, is Red River's favorite mill that they use, that they contract through. But anyway, so yeah, being that it's so commonly available, I'm going to use that. I'm going to make a profile again with that. And then I wanted to make a linen one for the Strathmore paper, but I believe I used the last sheet of it. So I looked and looked and looked, and I couldn't find. Oh, here it is. Lucky me. So we can do one more. I didn't want to use the larger stuff that I have in the back. This is 9 by 12. So we're going to size it down a little bit so it will fit on the scanner. And we'll test it. I'm not going to do a standard image. I don't want to waste the paper that I have left because I have to order more. But running the new process using the new chart. And again, when you visually look at it, it pretty much looks identical. When you install the software, it's going to install that master chart in your pictures folder, and you get it from there, and you can move it wherever you wish. I usually just copy it over to a folder on my desktop. So that way it only has the print prism material in it, because the file is actually just dumped in your pictures folder. And if you have 100 pictures in there, it's in there somewhere. So I just copy it and put it inside its own dedicated folder, if you will. But we'll see. I haven't looked at it at all. I don't know what is different about it. We're going to look at the website and see what Mike is saying about the new chart. Where does it, improve? What are the improvements? What can we expect by using it? But I love the fact that he has been very busy. Now, with that said, and I looked at my specs in my YouTube channel, and let me see, maybe things change overnight. Who knows? Let me quickly look at my YouTube and see if we have. I was at 700. I was at 722 subscribers last night. Jumped over to 729. I posted something on Facebook, just basically asking my supposed 9,000 Facebook members if they had subscribed to the channel. So just because you have almost 10,000 followers in your group doesn't mean that there's 10,000 people watching. Okay. Otherwise, I would get more than just 30 views on a new video. You see what I mean? So, when you consider that technically there are 9,000 plus members, but they're not all there. In fact, only like maybe 0.1%. So I asked, literally almost begging, to please subscribe if they have not subscribed yet, because we got to reach 1,000. That is the key. I've already made it to the minimum required so-called watch hours, and that rolls on a 365-day calendar, but it moves day by day. So right now, we started August, I think it was August 10th. So August, September, October, November, December, and January. Not quite January 10th yet. So that's 5 months. We made it to the required number of hours, which is 4,000 watch hours. And of course, as people continue watching daily, the calendar moves. It may differ up and down, but it may actually increase. So I need to get 1,000 subscribers. We are at, like I said, at 729. Last night it was 722, is what I noticed. So what is this? When I was switching, I just got this notice. Split view makes it easier to multitask. Put pages side by side. No, I think that's for Windows, not, yeah. It's keeping an eye on me. I love the way programs spy on you. That's simply what it is. So anyway, we'll see. And what does that mean? Once I reach that level, legally, I am supposedly able to apply again, but they're making me wait till February the 6th. And I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to build my history and see what happens, because that's the other option that they gave you. I've tried already 3 times, and they say that I haven't been a good boy. And that is simply because of the hacking that took place. They think that maybe I was involved in it. And of course, I was not. Why would I do something that stupid? Right? Anyway, let's jump into the viewers that we have here. Richard Bender is here. He came in at, he didn't get kicked out. Awesome. At 1:35 this morning. Amazing. Hello, everyone. Now let's get down to printing. EcoTank 8550, Kimich Ultimate. Print Prism, Nikon D300, loving Red River metallic paper. Richard, I read what you told me about your reply from Mike Cheney, and we're going to talk about that. I think what he said makes sense in a way. But on the other hand, the reason that only certain, shall we say, scanners are have been, what's the word I can use, calibrated to use inside Print Prism is because those are the ones he has access to. Okay, so if you have an Epson, Perfection V, whatever, and if you don't have one, they're hard to get and they're expensive. I mean, they're available, but they're not cheap. Um, if he had one of those, I'm sure that he could include it. Um, that would be the best. But at this point, again, it depends on whatever he has available as far as scanners currently in his office, lab, whatever you want to call it. All right. But we're going to talk a little bit about what my theory as to what actually takes place when you're using a scanner. TPD 605. Hello, Ron K from Trenton, New Jersey. Epson Ecotech 8550, QMH Ultimate Lifetime, Canon R5 Mark II, and Canon 7D Mark I. Welcome again, my friend. Fred Elias is here. 24 degrees in, where are you at? Where are you at? Anyway, Epson Ecotech 8550, OEM inks, Red River paper. Love the metallics, just like Richard. Profile Prism, actually Print Prism. Nikon D300, and other goodies. And he's a hobbyist. NPM Photo, Nick Marmolejo from Deer Valley, Arizona, Epson 80, Stylus Pro 3800, Piosography Pro inks. So he prints monochrome. That's really the best way to go, actually. Epson XP 15000 chipless, PCSE inks, and QMH Ultimate Lifetime ON1 Photo Raw Max Sony Alpha 6000 loaded. I love the way you guys are just telling me everything you have on. He also has a technical 4x5 Schneider camera with a Schneider 75mm Super Angulon. Those were the good ones. 120 Schneider convertible, 210 to 370. I didn't know they made zoom lenses for large cameras. Wow. Epson Perfection 4870 and a photo black scanner. That's a photo flatbed scanner, the 4870. Awesome. View scan scanner software for the, yeah, okay, we got it. Henry Stoffel, Cold Medford, Massachusetts, Epson P800, OEM inks, and of course, Q Image Ultimate. Kevin Bruniarski, Ellsworth, Wisconsin. How cold is it up there? Canon Pro 300, Epson Ecotech 8550, XP 15000 with Q Image Ultimate. Alrighty. Captain Dauncey, he's here from Richmond, Virginia. Pro 100 with all the trimmings, Sony A77 and A65, Coney Omega Rapid. Oh, Coney Omega, is that an enlarger? Yeah, I think so. M2 and a quarter by 2 3/4 film camera. Photo Nikon 780. Greetings from cold, snowy Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. QImage Ultimate Print Prism Photoshop Lightroom Canon Pro 1000, Epson Ecotech 8550, XP 15000, and a 4870 scanner. Nigel Waters, UK, Wales, Canon Pro 300 with all the trimmings. Welcome, everybody. Pete Grobel, Canon Pro 1100 Prograph, Canson Infinity Satin Touch, Canson Platine Rag, and Canson Paper Mill in France. Oh, okay. So that's where they are. Oh, excellent. Since 1955. Wow. Okay. 1855. Even better. Wow. So they know what they're doing. They've been at it for a bit. Ak Bauer, AK Bauer 2525. I haven't been watching in for a while, but I was wondering if I wanted to ask, but I've forgotten what it was. Oh, well, when you remember, don't forget to ask. Even if I'm talking about something else, go ahead and enter that question right here, and we'll try to address it. Pete says, switch from Canon per luster. Canson to me is the best specialty plateen rack. They have their own paper mill. Yeah, Canson is awesome. Even for their art papers, especially those watercolor papers, they're not made for inkjet printing, and yet they could be adapted using a good profile. Maybe we should try to do that. I'll have to go in the back and get some. Maybe I have some up here. If not, I'll just go to the back and grab a couple sheets of it. I'm wondering what that would do, what the 8550 would do by using the Velvet Fine Art mode when you create the profile. Alrighty. So let me go into the DD software. And I'm going to try to show you guys what has been added to Print Prism. DDI software. Okay. Let me go to the other screen. All right. So if you go to ddisoftware.com/printprism/ that is, you will land here. This is different than the normal QImage Ultimate website. So for $34.95, you buy the software. For I think a total of 110, you can add, what does that say? A Canon LIDE 300 sells for $75. Scanner, so you can have the whole profiling setup. Say, for instance, you don't have an 8550, you just need a little scanner to be able to do this. You can get that deal for a total of $110. I don't know whether he is selling the scanner or whether you had to order it from elsewhere. I would assume that's the case. Turn your scanner into a printer profiling workhorse. Print Prism builds high quality. Let me move this closer to me so I can read it. High quality ICC printer profiles using just a supported flatbed scanner. No IT8 reference targets to buy. No handheld device to slide across rows of patches. That's what we normally have to do. And then you just, purchase it right there. See how it works. That is the video that I think we watched a couple of weeks ago. And this is what users are saying. I have been testing Print Prism, and so far I'm very pleased with the results. Print Prism requires only one sheet of paper. There's a huge savings in not having to buy handheld spectrophotometer. Well, not only that, folks. Imagine when I was selling profiles. In other words, you would print using a set of files that you would download from me, and you would go ahead and print those using QImage, using the off, in other words, 00 color management. And you would print those with the recommended paper type for whatever that unknown paper was, and you would send me those, I would use my $1,500 i1 Pro 2 from X-Rite to scan them and produce the profile. Okay. That way, since you printed them on your printer, all I had to do was scan them. Now, my scanner, meaning my spectrophotometer, has its own calibration system. There's a little ceramic disc. It's a certain value of white. There's an internal light that shines onto it, and then it recalibrates itself every time you use it. So it's always perfect. So as long as that ceramic disc does not change, which it shouldn't, every time you recalibrate, you are set to factory standards again. So then the instrument is calibrated. Now it reads your color patches and it knows. I'm using the software for that instrument, and it knows what that generated set of patches, each value was. And then it just determines what the difference printed is. So patch number 1 should have been this value, but it printed this value. You need to correct it in this amount, one way or another, any direction. And then the next one, and then the next one. So you would do, say, a single sheet would be like 400 patches, and then a double sheet would be twice that, and then the triple sheet would be like 1,200, maybe 1,600 patches. Well, the paper might cost you $4-5 each. That's $15, and you're relying on me, not or the mail system, to not damage them when you send them to me. So anyway, long story, we're now only requiring one sheet. Why? Oh my God, this is why. I'll show you. It's not 400. It's not 800. It's not 1,600. It's 16,000 or so patches. Tiny little squares. You see them. Okay. So this pretty much prevents the need to guess, because an 8-bit image has the ability, theoretically, to reproduce 16 million point something, 0.5 or 6 colors. Okay. Well, there's 16,000 of them here. So sure, it's going to interpolate, but it doesn't have to work so hard to interpolate, because if the more patches you have, the more variations of colors and hues and such you have, the less it has to guess what would be between these two colors. Well, there might be 1,000 shades between those two colors, so it has to sort of guess and interpolate. Well, there's no need to do that as much anymore, because we have an immense amount of color patches that the software will scan. So in this case, the scanner simply is scanning and producing an image that will have a few errors here and there. It's not going to be perfect. The software is calibrated. It recognizes what scanner Mike calibrated it for. And there are 2 or 3 right now. So of course, you will choose the scanner that you scan that printed file with. And it knows what the errors are. And it's going to include that in the how to figure out what the actual printed errors are. So it's going to include that. It's not like calibrating my Spectro, which brings it to factory standards, so I know the Spectro is spot on. The scanner, I'm sure he's done it, so the scanner should be within a margin of error. Now, it's a mass-produced item, so it's going to have a margin of error as far as scanning accuracy goes. It's something that your eyeballs can determine when you print a common image, even a standard image. Probably not. Okay, so the software, Print Prism, is going to look at that image that you produce when you scan that chart that you printed. You print the chart with no color management, 0 and 0. 0 in the driver and off in QImage when you print it. Just like if you were printing, when I tell my friends, my customers back then, I don't do that anymore. It's illegal. I cannot use the proprietary software. I have to use an open source software, which I don't know how to use. So I stopped doing that. But anyway, so if I scan that, it's going to give me as good a scan as the scanner can produce. Okay. That is saved as a special type format image. And you then tell the software will then analyze each one of those squares and will put a little dot, a little square dot on every one of those. And you have to maybe adjust the alignment. It reminds me of the X-Rite passport card. It had about, I don't know, 16, 20 patches. And the software will identify each one and select it and put a little like a cursor inside each one of those squares. And it just reads it. It says, well, your camera shot a picture of this, and these are the errors your sensor produced, as well as your lens. And so we're going to correct that. We're going to bring that image to what the original looked like. And when you apply that so-called profile, say in Lightroom, automatically gets applied. Your images all of a sudden go from your raw images, that is, go from to whoa, what just happened here? I actually have, where do these greens come from? Where do these reds and blues come from? Yeah, that the sensors really could not reproduce accurately. The profile did it simply because you took a picture of that chart with color patches. You see, so the software recognizes the errors your camera introduced on that image and every other image that you shoot as well. So it produces a profile, which is a fix. So we're doing the same thing. We're scanning that chart we printed, and the software scans it. I don't know how the hell it does 16,000 patches in a matter of like a minute. It's amazing. So this particular one supposedly is an improvement for the previous image. So let's go back to that. Okay, so this is the new image from a scan to finish profiling minutes. Now, I don't know if he's telling us, and you guys can go here and just scour this if you wish, but in the email that I received, it did a description basically stating that the new chart is an improved chart, will give you better accuracy in certain regions. I don't remember exactly what he was referring to, but let me see if I can find the email that he sent me. I should be able to show you guys exactly what he meant by that. Let me just go to my email here, and here it is right here. So this is it. I don't want to show you my password. So print and scan the new upgraded printer target -41.tiff target. More accurate color and neutral tones. Smoother gradients for out-of-gamut colors. New optional pop-up help tips. So apparently that just means that it's going to have some extras in the software itself, pop-up helpers, if you will. Okay. All right, so I think that covers that. We're going to go ahead and use the new software, and we'll just give it a run. I'm going to try to print the two papers, print on the two papers from Staples, and then we're going to print a couple of images on them. And I tried to use images that are going to be a little bit tough on the software. Obviously, we're going to try to push it a little bit. Let me see if there's anybody here that we didn't. Just Kevin says, sorry for your loss and your family. Yes. Thank you so much, Kevin. All righty. So this is a software, and here we are. We're going to go ahead and slide it over a little bit more so we can see what we're doing, but I'm going to go ahead and print and also check first. Now remember my Epson 4200, I had a terrible yellow and black. And also, it happens every time that I refill. I don't know whether it is the refillable cartridges that are just horrible or what, but once the print head moves to the center, it's no longer on that parking station, so air gets in. And maybe it's just the cartridges not sealing properly onto the print head itself. If that happens, air can easily get in, because every time that I change a cartridge or refill, I have to do a number of cleaning cycles. I almost got it to the point where it's okay, but I don't think we're going to be sublimating today. So hopefully this week I'll take care of it. And it's a pain in the neck, I'm telling you. That's why I'm really considering this year getting another 8550 and just set it for sublimation, and then just get rid of the other printers, give them away to people if they want to continue trying to sublimate. Let's go ahead and do this. Maintenance, nozzle, print. I'm going to eat this little tiny beignet, and it's filled with jelly. I love it. Mm-hmm. Yummy. That was some coffee. Mm. See what I mean? Almost always perfect. All right. Let's begin with the matte paper. Make sure I got the. Okay, this is the printable side, the back, and I think this stuff. Wait a minute. It's very difficult to tell. Okay, this side. It was perfect. Home. All right. So let's hop over here. Now, what you do from the if this is your first time, you're going to have to create the image, print the image, in other words. Now you would do that in QImage. So let's go to that, because we have to print this first. This is after the fact. This is once you've printed it, then you scan it. This is solely for scanning and for generating the profile. So let's jump over to QImage. I'll leave it open all the time, but you don't have to. Okay, so as you can see, I was doing something else the other night. So let's go over to Print Prism Scans. This is the new file right here. So I am going to be using the 8550, obviously, but it needs to be hooked up via USB. So this is my USB, and we're printing on 8.5 by 11. So that would be letter size. And I don't want any borders. I just wanted to fill the sheet. It says poster mode. We don't want that. So let's go over to fit to page or original size. It doesn't matter. Original size, this file's already set to a specific size. See that? Well, you want it bigger than that. So let's go ahead and fit to page. Boom. So we are going to print this on what? We're printing on, this is a case where you'll have to make this choice yourself. You'll have to ask yourself, oh, this is a matte paper, but do I want to use like, presentation paper matte? That will trigger matte black, but it will not use both blacks. Only Velvet Fine Art will. So how deep a black do you want to have? That's what will help you determine this. Um, so I don't think I want to have such a deep black. Let me go ahead and change this to, I want a little bit more of a border so I can trim it nicely. So I'm just going to add 1/4 inch, 0.25. You don't have to. It's just me. I'm picky that way. So, and I'm going to remove the score. We don't want to score on there. So let me try that again. Again, this is because I was printing stuff prior to this. And QImage remembers everything you did the last time you used it. So that's it. So we are set now. Are we really? So Velvet Fine Art paper. Should we try that? I think we should. And then here, you're going to choose none or off, like so. So let's go over the settings. 8550 via USB. I have both Wi-Fi and USB, but USB is what it requires. So Velvet Fine Art, and that's just an experimentation here. We're going to try that with that paper to see how both blacks will act. In other words, and then 8.5 by 11, and then rear paper feeder and such, portrait mode, and the most important setting is printer profile to off. And so we want to also check, it should be set to none, but that's because of QImage's AI control. So properties, let's check the driver just to see. More options, advanced, no color adjustment. Good. So we're good to go. Let's print it. And boom. Let that load. We'll print it. We'll wait a bit for it to dry. And then we'll have to oh, Mike just told me something. He is correct. I'm going to cancel this. Cancel. All right. We're going to click on that and undo crop. Boom. Perfect. That's what we want. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So we'll send that off again. Let that load. And I'm curious as to pop-ups, help pop-ups that will supposedly walk me along the process if this was my very first time. Okay, so that should start printing. As you can see, we'll let that print. I'm going to go ahead and then trim off the excess white around it. Mike has included little cut lines, like little dash marks. They're, I think, like a gold color. Just trim along those edges. I usually trim a little bit inside that. I got a nice rotary trimmer, so that seems to work really well. It's going to take a while to print that whole chart. And then after we get done with this and we test it to see how good the results are. Because remember, the idea is that, gosh, people couldn't produce their own profiles before. It cost too much. And if you are thinking about, well, I'll just buy me an expensive spectrophotometer from X-Rite, and then I will sell profiles to people. Well, no, you can't. You cannot. You could, but it would be illegal. You cannot use their software to create software that you then sell for money. I was giving away for free, many of them, but even that is still a little iffy. You're supposed to use an open source type tool that is like going back to the days of DOS, command prompt. I don't know how to do that. You guys think I know a lot. Well, I do, but in that region, no, I do not. So why not use something like this that gives you indistinguishable profiles from the expensive one to the very low cost one, something that you can create yourself? Why not? Right? And that will bring your printing of your images to a different standard, one that you may not have been experiencing before. Yeah, okay. That does not sound good. Right. Well, what can you say? What can you say? Oh, I printed out the forms for my miniature show coming up this October, and I am busy making um, some one of a kind type products. Um, Before I do the show, I'll give you a rundown as to like one of each to show you what I will have available that day. And it costs $200 for a table. So I got to come up with that kind of money to get my table. And then once I do that, go in the day before to set up. And then the day of the show, cross your fingers. Hopefully, lots of things will sell and I'll be able to generate probably enough for the whole year. Okay. Cross fingers. I mean, that's all I can say. Have anybody tried to use my link, the link to the app that has all my affiliations and people that I support, created by Mike Cheney, actually? Have you had a chance to do that? Uh, I'll put the link at the bottom here. There it is, right there. This takes you everywhere I very faithfully support, because they have good products and they have excellent service. Rick Johnson, Rudy Hallamum, of course, Red River, of course, Amazon. Oh, I got a check the other day from Amazon. Thank you for those of you who have been using my link. Everything is there. Okay. Take a look at that and you can directly access each one of those entities, if you will. Um, okay, so this is done printing. As you can see, let me take a look and see if my eyes can tell the difference. Of course, they cannot. So this is the previous chart. This is the new chart. Yeah, it's a little bit different format. Sure. See down here is a complete all the way to these two right here. And over here, I think he's got, did you add extra ones? Oh, you have, you have a ramp, a black to white ramp. Wow. Okay. Excellent. Let's go ahead and trim this. Let me trim that little bit off over here. And that should be it. Yeah. My trimmer has been acting up a little bit. I don't know why. Yeah. That should do it. Okay. So I think, it should be fine. It should be ready to be scanned. Line it up the best we can here. All right, so now, if I understand this correctly, we are going to minimize Q image, jump over here, and I'm going to do a new scan. So this will be, Mike, this will be the preview, right? And I have my scanner chosen, and this will be this scanner. So this scanner use. So let's click on that. And here are some two settings that are Canon. Okay. So advanced mode, tap to the top right, click preferences button, color setting tab, and then none. Click the default button to reset things. 300 ppi, DPI. Okay, so I'm going to do a new scan here. I'm just going to click on that. And here it is right here. So I get this, and we're going to choose my Epson 8550 USB scan settings. I don't do anything there, right? I leave that alone. Photo mode, and then color, and then down here color management, none. Is there anything else I need to do, Mike? The extra, Mike has a bit of info here. The extra row of neutrals at the bottom is the only difference. All the neutrals have always been part of the target, but are duplicated now so that more neutral samples as those drive the profile. Okay. This is for this gentleman right here. Okay, so that's all I need to do. Excellent. And we're going to hit scan. Oh, and look at that. We have a new, so I can boost my shadow detail. I can just leave it as a normal setting, whatever that may be, neutral or warm. So I can actually produce, a different tone, if you will, like overall warm, or leave it at neutral. So let me see. I'm going to call this EcoTank 8550. Of course, we could have printed that on any other printer. It's just that we need to scan it on the 8550. But I printed it with the 8550, so we're going to give it that name. And this is Staples. And this is called Photo Supreme Matte. Okay, and I'm going to call it Print Prism 110. Right? That way we know this was made with the newest version. Save. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it. Let's see. I got to remove this old one. So Mike, it's remembering the previous one. So do I have to retype that, right? I have to re-enter it. So Staples Photo Supreme Matte, and then Print Prism 110. And I know you said that this was automatic, but you know me, I need to check. Make sure that it's actually being, okay, there it is. That is the correct. And boom. Okay, now let's see if we can find our corners. And it seems that it did a good job. Let me scroll down. Yep. Let me scroll to the right. Yep. What about right here? So does it have to detect these, Mike? Because it doesn't show the little detection squares in the grayscale. I assume it does not. So I think everything is lined up correctly. What do you think? Is that ready to be produce a profile? It doesn't put punch outs on the duplicates. Okay, that means the white to black ramp. Okay, so this is ready to be produced as a profile then. Generate profile. So Mike, how many little square patches are there? I don't want to even begin counting them. I know that each horizontal row is like what, 110. 9,261. Okay, so that's not what I've been saying. I thought it was like 16,000 or something like that. Okay, so All right, that's excellent, excellent. Still more than, yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay, you're talking math, and I'm not a math person. I was I was not bad in school, but it just wasn't my forte. Science, biology, that was chemistry, that was my forte, and music. I actually majored in music. Should have become a musician or at least a teacher, like my nephew did. Okay, so this is almost done. Here we go. Just under 10,000, he said. That's incredible. Okay, that is it, I guess. So I'm gonna just close that, and I'm gonna come back to me. We'll open up Q image. I shut it down by mistake. And we'll search for an image to print. Let me load some paper. I still have some here. Good. Okay. So we still have this setup going on here, but we want to change things. So I'm going to look for something, say, from my buddy here. We printed this one the other day, and what did we do with it? We printed it as a. We did it both ways. We did it as a sublimation. I think we did. Maybe not. No, we didn't. That's when I have some problems with the printer. So that baby right there came out like this. And so this was with the previous software, previous ICC profile, that is. Let me enhance it a little bit more here. Here we go. So that came out beautiful. This is AI generated with a signature right there, Richard Bender. Okay. Let's see what we can get. Now, I remember I printed it without cropping because otherwise it would not have fit. So let's go to here, make sure this is off. I'm going to put a border on it or a stroke like that. Okay. So that is the way it should be printed, long panoramic, not the way and actually, no, this is correctly printed. So I originally tried to do it on a full sheet and I had to crop it, and it just took some of the beauty away from it. I messed up. So this is the whole image uncropped. Let me make sure that I do have that border. Let's see. Let's make it a 4, a little bit larger than normal, and then add it. Okay, so now we have the whole image loaded. Now, no longer do we have to use off. Now we're going to search for that profile, and I'm just going to enter. I'm not even going to do. I'm just going to browse, and I'm going to enter the. And I have a question for you after we get done with this. So, PP. No, I should just do staples. Not two-piece. Okay, so this is today's, and yeah. Mike, when you print with off, this is not added to it, right? This is completely off as well. Everything is off, right? Just want to make sure because we are defaulting always to print with the relative colorimetric relative intent and black point compensation. That only happens when you're printing them with a profile, correct? When you're printing on off mode, none of that. Yeah, everything is ignored. Okay, that was a quick answer. Thank you from the man himself. The top of the first help tip you got suggests letting targets dry for an hour. Yeah, you're fine. It was pretty dry. So I've measured visible changes up to 2 hours. Okay, so um, I used to with my so-called um, sellable ones. Um, I tell people overnight and then ship them to me. Okay, excellent. So now we can print this and let's make sure that the driver is set correctly. According to Mike, it will do that automatically for you. It should be set to no color management. Why? Because I'm using a profile within inside Q image. So the driver should not be attempting to change my color. It should be set to no color management. No color management or adjustment. Okay. So we'll see what this looks like. Um, I was curious as to doing one with just choosing presentation paper matte without using the Velvet Fine Art mode. Um, but we'll just leave it as is. I want to see what this looks like first, and I'll compare. Of course, it's going to be much better than the one I printed on the linen paper. For those of you who may be wondering, I know most of you who are here right now, you already know. You already know the answer, but many people wonder, is the 8550 really good enough? Let me just show you real quick. This is from a phone. Okay. This is from my little Pixel phone. Um, check it out. It's just a snapshot I took out of the backyard of Nathan's house. It is sharp. I mean, the phone is sharp, but look at the color. Again, directly from the phone. I chose matte paper through my app, my little Epson print app, and was able to create this. So if you're not a serious, worker, you're not creating using, ICC profiles and all kinds of color managed workflows, yeah, just get the 8550. If you don't want anything larger than that, get the 8500. Okay. You'll print for a year and you will probably not have to add ink yet. I mean, what else do you want, right? So this was, I showed Nathan and he was just, wow, grandpa. Detail, shadow detail. Look at that. Dense colors. This is not using, you know, the Velvet Fine Art mode. No, this is just the normal, again, from the app on your phone. Okay. What can you say? Shadow details shift a lot for the first 20 minutes and then calms down. Yeah. I measured at intervals. I'm going to go ahead and redo that tonight. And I'll just replace the one we just created. Um, Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. See, this is a kind of level that a lot of us don't even comprehend. So, um, yeah. So wait to my X-Write software says 10 minutes, Mike. And then scan. Otherwise, you're going to have to leave your software open and come back, tomorrow to scan it. No. So we'll do that. We'll rescan that. It's still inside the scanner. So I'll repeat that tonight, and we'll replace the one we just created. And again, it may be something measurable. Can you really see it? Mike can. I'm sure he can, because he's got better eyes than I do. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I know for a fact he does. So we'll see what we get. It's coming out already. I can see the little light that shows you as the print begins to emerge. It's already showing me a beautiful result. It's showing me this little portion right here. Hell, if it matches this, I'll be very, very happy. I gave away a print today to a young lady, um, friend of ours. So we had invited her to lunch for her birthday, which happened to have been, I think it was the December, what? Yeah, December 10 or something like that. It was whenever it was on a Saturday. And she calls me sick as a dog. At least that's what she sounded like. And couldn't go. So today I gave it to her, and she was in tears. Not this one, another one, the one with the roses. Um, and yeah, she was in tears. And so that got me because she really did appreciate it. And again, this is the way. So, okay, what does this cost? So a sheet of this paper, let's see, you get 10 sheets for like 15, $18. So a buck something. And then 10 cents worth of ink, about $5 for the frame. So $7, $8 total. And it makes a huge impression. And you'll be able to just hang it right up. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to compare it. What am I doing? Okay, here we go. Okay, so the results always on the Strathmore will be a little bit less saturated than on a proper paper that's coated for inkjet printing. Contrast wise will also be a little bit less. And okay, yeah, you can compensate prior to printing for those inefficiencies, I guess. So this has got full contrast, just like my image there. Thus, it's gorgeous. Mike, this is freaking gorgeous. Color wise, have I shifted? Did the color balance shift to some other tone? No, it's the same. So if you consider this, Mike, would you call that a near perfect neutral representation of that image? That image contains colors, and they were rendered neutrally. In other words, the same way. So they appear the same. They don't look different, pink or magenta or yellowish or greenish. They look the same. They look the same as my screen, and all of the colors are. Had I print this on glossy paper, you would get the same result, more intense. This is what the image looks like. It's an intense looking AI generated image from Mike Bender, and yeah, truly amazing. I prefer this rendition in a way, simply because the paper has that canvas type texture. It just looks like a painting. It really does. On certain images that you create, you can add brush strokes, a certain level of impasto, which is, a thick. Usually, they used to use a palette knife to apply the colors on, not necessarily brushes, but that looks fantastic. And yeah, this looks glorious. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to do the color one. I'm going to put this over here. No, sorry, the glossy one. Okay. I got a few sheets left of this. I was driving right past my neighborhood Staples, and I should have stopped by. But I didn't, unfortunately. And yeah, I could get this online, of course, but we'll do one. We'll do another image. Something beautiful. I know which one. The girl walking the dog. That's one of my favorites. So, as you can see, these are all Richard's latest images. But let's go ahead and find that image we need to print. That'll be this one right here. And we're going to choose, I believe that they want you to use the premium paper, photo paper glossy. We could use the ultra premium just for the hell of it. And choose off. And that should be it. Always check. I know I don't have to check, but I always do. Advanced and no color adjustment. Good. I need to start trusting QImage more. I always just check. It just amazes me that it does that. I'm going to leave the stroke on. I'll trim it off. All right, I think that's it. We're going to go ahead and print. So like I said, I could be doing this from my Pro 1000. I could be doing this from my P800 and so forth. And then just come back here and perform the scanning of the resulting chart. But again, we need to do this within a certain time frame. But again, like Mike said, the shadows values are the ones that change. So, or if you're going to change a little bit, will change. I know a lot of us are nerds, so I thought people might find that interesting. The X-ray recommendations is 10 minutes is definitely not long enough. Yeah, if it's something that you can measure, it definitely is changing as time passes, then sure, you need to reach a point where you reach that plateau where nothing changes anymore. Um, yeah, I don't know why they do that, but they do that. So, yeah, the only difference I see is the intensity, and that's just the type of paper. Um, that paper simply is not intended for photo printing on an inkjet printer. So the blacks are always, everything in the shadow region is going to rise up a little bit in density. It's not going to be as dense. So this is, and keep in mind, What were we always told, Mike, and you know this better than anyone? Um, well, I'll just say better than me, not anyone. Um, Inkjet printers that are dye based should not be producing results like this on matte paper. At least that was the case back in the day. Okay. Um, I have yet been able to produce this level of results on matte paper, even on a Canon Pro 10. I had to use a fine art mode, a matte paper, but in the fine art, because the matte black wasn't triggered otherwise. It would still use photo black. And I've never had that explained to me. Okay. So you could imagine this was probably shot with like a 14 millimeter lens, right? If it was real. Um, my friend Richard was able to give the detail to the generative tool in Photoshop to create an image where these flowers are like a foot away from the camera lens, the imaginary camera lens. Excellent. Because you can see them. Here's that, whatever that cactus is called, the giant cactuses. So these flowers are, maybe this big around, and this one is like right there in front of the lens. So you get that super wide angle look. Excellent. Again, but theoretically, you're not supposed to be able to get this level of depth. Look at that. Look at right here. Yeah, that's nuts. And well, you're seeing me do it here, so I'm not using any special inks or anything like that. It's just OEM all the way through. So what can I say? So Mike, then the duplicates on the bottom, are they being read, or what is the point of having that um, from white to black set of patches that do not get identified? They don't get selected. What is the point of that? Unless you really can't discuss it, you can. And by the way, folks, for those folks, and this is something I need to talk to Mike. I need to talk to the Red River owner. I need to talk to Mike Lee as well. I need to talk to Rick Johnson. I need to talk to my friend in Los Angeles, the 3D printer guy. Um, I'm going to be doing, or I want to do, video phone calls right here on regular StreamYard. I may have to start to pay for it. Um, and then I'm going to have that content appear first on my Patreon page. Okay. And so patrons that decide to join and donate a few dollars a month will have exclusive access to those chats that I will be having, hopefully, um, with these people. Um, by the way, Q Image guys also. Okay. Andrew and Mike. So, and Mike, you said that the possibility of a print prism for Mac might be created in the future. Um, if your buddy was able to create QImage 1, I don't really see an issue. Um, it'll of course be between you two, um, but yeah, it shouldn't be impossible to do, and that will make a ton of people happy. I am not kidding you. A huge bunch of people would be happy. So, Photonicon says, my workflow with Print Prism is take one day to print several targets and wait 24 hours before making the ICC profiles. I found this works the best. I use same workflow with my data color ICC profiler. How Photo Nikon, answer this for me. How um, consistent did you think the data color spider, I think it's called, was? How consistent were your results? I noticed that I had a spect not a spectral but a colorimeter for calibration of monitors, and I was getting slightly different results every time I did it. So I just went back to my X-ray unit. But I like to get your impression of what results. Maybe I was just being sloppy. Who knows? Um, but anyway, let me know if you're able to do that here right now. Go ahead and post it. Okay. Oh, okay. By the way, it took almost 120 hours of work. Oh yeah. How? Why did you jump all the way to 110? Mhm. Hey, so I was wondering when I got your notice. Um, Wait a minute. What happened to 104, 105, 106, 107? You went directly to 110. It must have been a huge update. And it was. And it was. Okay. This is done. This is actually beautiful paper. It really is. Let's go trim it. What is this? Okay. All right. Let's do this. All right. One question, Mike. Do I need to check to see if my settings are correct? Or does it remember that? So, in other words, if I go for new scan, of course, it's going to ask me, yeah, that's my printer. Select that. Um, and I notice there's a bunch of different scanners here. This is what I have available, but I'll go ahead and stick with that. And now we're going to go ahead and scan. And I get this. I already read it. So it says 1 hour. Well, we're going to do a lot less than that, unfortunately. Um, do I need to check this again, Mike? Is what I'm saying. Or is should this be always at the default setting, which is the correct setting? In other words, if I go down here, it'll say off, none. Um, or do I really have to double check every time? So photo mode, right? Everything seems normal, 300 ppi. So I think that's like a default setting, I guess. So, and it remembers it. So let's go ahead and scan. And we'll use the same name. I'm just going to change this to gloss. Supreme gloss. In space. I'm just going to copy it. All right, so that's going to be it. That's the name of that. And I'm just going to simply, and that should be correct. But you know me, I got to check. And there it is, gloss save. All right, so let me flip this around. Whoop, went too far. Okay. Yep, okay. It's a little bit crooked. We'll see. We'll see how the finding the corners works. And it did a great job, even though it's a little bit tilted. And boom, and boom. Wow, folks. So you're kind of getting the drift of how easy this is. Of course, don't judge me, by my little, flubs here and there. But this is very easy to do. So you guys will do this a lot easier than me. So create profile. And then I'm going to repeat all of this tonight, and we'll just overwrite the previous profiles so that it'll be at the best condition. In other words, fully dried. Any color shifting that may take place as the paper so-called degasses, that's what I've heard it called, where the moisture leaves, becomes a gas, degas. And then I'll go ahead and save those, and I'll overwrite the current profiles being created. We'll have the good ones. So Mike, what are your other ideas or goals that you're shooting for with this amazing piece of software? And here we have yeah, I verify the settings every time, although I don't think you need to. Yeah, I think I will do as well. I think I will as well. The only thing I do is click that color management button, verify none, and verify 300 dpi. That's it. Color management none turns everything else off anyway on an option. Okay, great. I have compared my data color 700 ICC to Mike's, and his is much better. Whoa. Have got rid of my data color. Oh, okay. There you go. What can I say? Really enjoy Print Prism, and everyone who wants to make ICCs should buy it. I am a very particular and detailed individual. Print Prism is a great tool. Thanks, Mike. Well, there you go. What do you think about that, Mike? Um, all right, let's go ahead and jump into QImage. Okay. Let me go ahead and find that profile. I think for me, the easiest way is just click on the date and just get the latest one I just made. There it is, Super Supreme. Let me show you that. Oh, well, I should have moved it over there. Sorry about that. Okay, so I have Ultra Premium Photo Paper Glossy, and then we're going to click on that. I already have it loaded, but you can do a search, you can do a suggestion, you can do type in a name, you can do whatever you want. Like I can type in Supreme, and it will look for anything that has the term Supreme gloss right there. Okay, so this is the Print Prism 110, boom, and I have black point compensation on already and relative colorimetric as well. And then we'll just go ahead and look at, let me see if we have anything else we can print here. My new AI images. We have the Ghost Powwow, but even though I like Halloween, Halloween is over. There's no more until next year. Let's see. These are all square. These are my paintings. Let's see. This is a nice one. This is Annapolis, and outside view of a cafe. And this is normally printed on the proper kind of paper, but we won't do that one. Yeah, you have to have a not a glossy paper. No, that would not be good. How about let's test the uh, neutrality. This is from a negative. This is in Belgium. We lived on a road that basically we lived in this road, north and south, and there was an east and west road, and right next to it is this canal that you can see, and that is the town of Mons, Mons, in Belgium, and that's the cathedral. So let's go ahead. It's a little bit tilted. Let me see. I'm gonna fix that. Okay. There you go. You saw what I did, right? Now it's no longer crooked. So I'm going to sharpen it because I think it will need a little bit of sharpening. And I do this. I know I'm not supposed to do this. I could do this, of course, outside of this, but I like to do this internally. I got all that film grain there, which I love. This was Tri-X back in the day. This was 1980, I would say 83-ish. That's it. Let's see how this comes out. This is not going to be on black and white mode. This is going to be printed through an ICC profile using RGB mode. So this is not setting the driver to black and white. This is simply printing with the profile we just created. We'll see what kind of accuracy we get. And of course, I should wait, like Mike said, 12 hours. But we'll see. Yeah. Next, I'm going to work with even more scanners. People ask about the FSMV series, so I'll see what I can do. I told a couple of my friends that you're limited to what you have available in your place, the premises. So if you want to do a V500, you would have to buy or borrow a V500 from someone. And these are maybe available now. I mean, they're not cheap. Um, I used to have a V800, which is outstanding, outstanding scanner, especially for film. And yeah, you would have to have the scanner. I know that the ones that you have already available are scanners in printers or standalones that you already have in house. So for people to just say, well, why don't you just make, you know, this for the V500? Well, why don't you give them a V500, right? I would have to fly down with my V500, let you have it for whatever number of days it takes, and you could probably very easily, at least you know what you're doing. I don't know anything about how you are achieving this, but it would be relatively easy job for you because you already know what to do, what is required. But you need to have the printer, the scanner in house, uh, and otherwise, yeah, how are you going to do that? So it's not like you can download. Hey, this is the no, for a V500 or V600. No, that's not the way it works. I have some pictures here. Gosh, look at that. I think that's the cathedral in Mons. Neat. It's nearly time to reset your ink levels. Yeah, I already filled everything. So this is the canal. This is the beautiful canal we had. This is a shot of a window. Look at that with some lace. Couple of young ladies about to cross the street. I used to consider myself a street photographer, but nah, I wasn't that great. Two girls walking. I think this is in Paris, walking down the street. I wonder, if this day and age they still have these beautiful cobblestone streets. We lived on a cobblestone street road, and it was awesome. Now it's paved and it's a through road, and it connects to a big highway, and it's like, oh God, not what I was experiencing while I was there. This is Judy. This is my daughter. This is Nathan's mom. Of course, you all know what that is, right? I need to crop this. It was misaligned when I scanned it. This needs a little bit of work on Photoshop. Who is that? Is that one of my kids? No. Those kids are sliding down the. Oh, that is cute. It needs a little bit of straightening also. Anyway, so yeah, the V series scanners allow you to do scanning of film as well. Okay, this is emerging. It's looking good. Yeah, it's looking good. I never thought. I remember Mike, long, long time ago when you had um, profiling through the scanner. I remember that, and this is like miles ahead. You have done something astronomical. Um, The spectrophotometer companies are going to sue you. No, I'm kidding. They are really pissed right now. I know, and they're going to probably criticize you, and you might be getting an incognito order of print prism from some of these folks. Wow, it's hard to tell because the densities are so strong. But I'm looking for neutrality. I'm looking for linearity across the tonal range. I don't like this paper. I really don't. But anyway, yeah, that looks good. I only have a few sheets left, so let me do my daughter here. See how that works out. That does not have like super black tones or anything of the sort. Let me see if I need to do anything extra to it. Maybe a little bit of sharpening. Just to sharpen that film grain. I love that film grain. You cannot create that with a filter or a plugin. Sorry. You have to do it. It has to be the real deal. And these are pretty high um, scans. This is 5097 by 8163 pixels. That's pretty heavy duty right there. So I could print that relatively large, especially with QImage. I can go, wall size if I need to. I wonder what happens if I view things with the warm. I have a ability to change this to see how. Look at me. This is neutral, supposedly. This is super warm, and this is a combination of both. What would happen if I? Yeah, it warms it up. This is the correct view. Of course, you guys might be getting a slightly different view depending on what this StreamYard does. One good thing that I noticed, and I can download a copy of this whole stream, full resolution. Okay, better than waiting until YouTube decides to do the 720p, video of it, which takes hours to process. So it allows me to download. And while I was doing this, I could have used, there was a term, and I need to remember what it is, where you can actually say that term, and then later, after you get done, you can actually tell it to create clips for you. So I could have, for example, if I said that term, like create a clip or something like that, start clip or something like that, and then it will then remember that, and it will look for that term as it reanalyzes your video. This is right after I shut this down. As soon as I close down, it'll ask me if I want to download it and if I want to create clips. So that gives me material that I can then use for Patreon. Okay, to make sure that people get a little bit extra for the donation that they're providing the channel. And so yeah, I just need to do that because I may never get monetized again. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's go ahead and print beautiful Miss Judy here. And I don't have to change anything. We'll just go ahead and print it. Now that would be good if you were to print it on a say a matte but relatively rough surface and add a tone to it, maybe a tiny little bit of sepia, that would look glorious. You know what paper is good? Red River, um, something natural. Oh, I forgot now. Oh my God. It was great. I loved it. It came Aurora Natural. Aurora White had OBAs and it was pure white. But the natural did not have OBAs and it had that bit of warmth to it. It really, really, really looked good. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I've been doing. So, last tip, I think you make sure to trim off the yellow dash line so only black border is showing. It'll flip the target upright from the start so you don't have to rotate it. Okay, so I think I haven't been cutting off the border completely. That's what, but again, it's no big deal. I can just flip the target manually. Where did I put it? Right here. Yeah, so I have a little bit of a, come on. Yep, of course, there it is. So I know better now, and I will trim off the borders completely. And yeah, I'll do that now so that I tonight when I redo this, it'll be okay. Let me check this one as well. Yeah, it's got a little bit of it. All right. My wife was sneezing upstairs. We've both been with the same problem people are having around my area. Everybody has a weird sickness, flu like, but it's not. Okay, so now we have this prep. Leave it here for the later on today. Let it fully dry. There she goes. Of course, you know, if I was thinking straight, I would have printed that on the matte paper rather than the glossy. But this will show me because it's got a lot more grays to it. We'll see how good the neutrality is. That'll show us the neutrality accuracy. See if what the upgrade really lives up to its claim, and I think it does. So, you know me, I'm always going to be a little bit of a pessimist in a way, but when I see it in my face and it is good, that's it. I accept it. I'm not going to continue arguing. You know, I'm sold. Oh, wow. Wow, good. And that is for the Pro 1000? Or the AMX is for Epson or the, yeah, there's different types of, files that you can install in your drivers, not the driver, but your printer itself, like you can on the 1100 and the Pro 1000 and other Canon printers. I don't know too much about Epsons, whether you can do that or not. I think you can. But yeah, this is for the 1100, easy to use. I never thought that paper made much of a difference. Have you ever used Platine Rag? No, I have not. I haven't used any like truly photographic printing cans on papers. I may have a sample pack in the back, but I really don't remember because it wasn't cheap to begin with, and I always have to buy what I need to buy to demo online or on videos with the money we generate. And if I don't generate anything, I cannot buy anything. So, but yeah, there's a lot of beautiful papers out there. I got to contact Red River and see if they will be willing to send me a few of the newer packs, um, sample packs, so that we can test them. And I want to have them. I want to have Mike Cheney come on a regular basis. Mike, I need you. I need you and Andrew regular basis to have some exclusive little. They won't be for long. It will be like, you demo something for 20 minutes and then we're done, and that video can then be loaded to Patreon, and then after a week or so, it will become available on YouTube for those who decided not to join Patreon. So I need to do that because otherwise, that's it. um, and we don't want this to stop. Okay, at least I don't. I don't know about you guys, but I don't. Oh my! This is looking wow. The paper looks a little yellowish on the computer, but it is not. It is beautiful. If I in my darkroom days, if I was ever able to produce something like this, I would be thrilled. And I can see film grain. Oh boy, I love film grain. Yeah, and people think that a filter or some sort of whatever, like a plugin can reproduce it. You can only if it did this. Um, if you analyze a negative, okay, you will find out that the clear areas, in other words, what would become a shadow or something dark, these areas back here would be almost clear in the negative. They have very little silver. In other words, the silver halides or silver salts were exposed by light, and depending on the amount of light, will be reduced to more silver. Those are highlights. So this negative had a lot of silver right here, and it blocked the light on my enlarger. So it would not print as a dark tone, but as a light tone. And the clear areas pass a lot of light through it and produce shadows, dark tones. This area right here, that area was very clear on the negative. Remember, it's reversed. So the areas that are clear, they have tiny, tiny little granules of silver. Tiny. The areas that are more opaque have more coarse granules of silver. So it wasn't a linear size. I love using the word linear. We did in my lab. It wasn't a linear size. It varied. The heavier the accumulation of silver, you would end up with some clumping. And you would see that if you used the loop and looked at the negative on a light box. And so it is a non-linear grain structure that your image is composed of. And unless you have one hell of a good filter or plugin that can actually analyze the densities and reproduce grain at the correct sizes. In other words, shadows would be small, highlights would be coarse. You need a lot of silver to block the light passing through that enlarger negative and produce a highlight like this right here. That require a lot of silver on that negative. Very little light passed through it, and it could barely expose that bit of a photo paper, and it would print light. These areas passed a lot of light through, so they would print dark. And it was all gradually. They had a gamma curve that showed you from black all the way up, and then highlights. But yeah, so yeah, don't go by this. This looks, this, yeah, here we go. The further back I go, the more neutral it looks. So with this light here, that one, that light right there looks really good. Let me turn this off. Maybe, ooh, that's horrible. Maybe it's this right here. Here we go. Look at that now. There you go. These are more accurate than this one. So, and you can see how neutral that is. So, Mike, you did one hell of a job. And how long did that take me? Even clumsy me can knock out a profile that is this good. And whether I'm right or wrong, my theory has always been if I can produce a neutral black and white print, I can produce a neutral color print, which means that none of the colors are changed or shifted. They are as as the negative was or as the digital image is. Okay, look at that, amazing. All right, jeez. So, Mike, we got to get together, my friend, and as I get a few more patrons to join, um, we got to give them something for the money, and at the same time, that will increase sales for your softwares, and so we will both benefit. And I want to do this also with Rick Johnson. I want to show him actually processing a cartridge for refilling. If Rick is here, if I can do that, and you think you've sold a lot of cartridges, you may be selling a lot more. Okay, and then Rudy Hallamum, the 3D expert, printing expert for accessories such as this. I will demonstrate this someday for you guys live. It is amazing, and it will allow you to use very badly kept Pro 10, Pro 300, and 310. Any of those cartridges that look like this from Canon. You buy them from eBay, they're going to come without this. That bag is going to be expanded. You cannot dribble ink into that exit sponge. It sits there. You have to collapse that bag by sucking back. And then once you do that, now you can add ink to it. Okay, otherwise you just cannot. Okay. And well, you can, but it takes like 2 hours. And then once you do that, the inside gets wet and it no longer collapses because you don't let it collapse. Um, you'll be good to go from that point onward. But otherwise, no, you have to keep that sponge wet and keep that orange cap that you get when you buy that cartridge always on it, especially after you refill them. So, all right. Let me see. Got a couple more things here, and then we'll go ahead and take off for the afternoon. Um, our son should be arriving any minute. So, I have your address and one I will get. I should send you examples. So, okay. Excellent. Thank you. For my Pro 1100 easy to use, I never thought paper made that much with it. Yeah. Um, yeah, I saw that one before. Sorry. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, I would love to test that. And there's my friend, the man himself. He has okay, yeah, 200. Um, the name of the paper is Cannon Burrito Plantain. Are you sure it's platinum? Plantain is a banana. Uh, a fiber rag. Is that really plantain? Okay. The sulfate mimics the optical brightness without the drawbacks. Okay, excellent. Yeah, if you could do that, that's one of the negatives, especially that glossy paper I just showed you right here. Um, this has optical brighteners, and eventually it will become too yellow, and it's beginning to do it now. It starts on the edges, and it becomes yellowish. That's why I was wondering, looking at it under my lights, I look a little yellowish. But anyway, so I think what I'm going to do is simply redo the rescan, if you will, the one on the matte paper, because that is from a fresh box that I have. So anyway, and I can make those profiles available on my Facebook group. Everybody here in the USA has a Staples store somewhere in the neighborhood or in their county, and they would be able to buy those very low cost, excellent papers from Staples. Or you can buy them on Amazon actually. So keep using my Amazon link. Keep using my Red River link. Um, Q Image Ultimate. Believe me, it's worth the cost. Buy it and use my link. You get a discount. Um, Support Rick Johnson. He makes your life easy. If you're a Pro 200 user, 100 user, just buy the already refurbished set of cartridges. And if he says he doesn't have any, send them yours. Okay, he will refurbish those at a cost and send them back to you. It makes your life a dream. Refilling is no longer a you know Pandora's box. You just and then get I don't have it here, but get the holders from Rudy Hallinan to keep your cartridges lined up. Okay, you don't make mistakes anymore because you know what's what. It's in front of you. It says R for red. It says M for magenta. Okay, photo magenta, PM. So you will not mix match inks. Ooh, that's scary. Okay, and you would have to then completely reflush that cartridge. Okay, doke. I think that's gonna be it. Let me go ahead and load what I need for the goodbye. And I hope you guys have a wonderful beginning of the year. Yeah. Okay. So until the next time, happy printing, everybody. Let me load my second slideshow here. I'm gonna have to do this. I hate this because I used to be able to queue it up in the actual StreamYard, but now it won't let me unless I give them $60 a month. Incredible. All right, I think we're good to go. We are ready. So again, make sure that oh geez, what happened here? Ah, okay, we'll try this again. All right, good. So we will see you next week, and I will be uploading videos every day this week. Always have a back in the past previous live stream on Saturdays at noon. So you don't have to watch that on at 12 o'clock. You can watch it later. Don't forget to put your thumbs up on this uh, broadcast, if you will. And that will actually tell YouTube that you guys actually care. Yeah, it makes a difference. It makes a difference in the algorithm. Again, I think it's all controlled by bots anyway. So don't forget that. If you haven't become a subscriber yet, please do so. We need to reach 1,000. That's the minimum we need. I used to have 79,000. They're gone, and I cannot relocate those people. That was incognito. You join and just know the name, but nothing else. And how can I keep track of 79,000 subscribers? Obviously impossible. So, all right. So that's going to be it. We'll see you next week, folks. Love you all. Bye bye, everyone.